one of the really interesting things and challenging things about the Musconetcong watershed is the geology of this area. So it is underlain by karst geology or limestone geology, where the separation between surface water and groundwater isn't what it would be in an area where you don't have karst. In karst geology, you have the potential for sinkholes to form, right? So you have this rock material, right, this geologic material that can go into solution, that over time can dissolve. And so as you develop these solution chambers, as the crust, the ground level here, as this chamber grows and grows and grows, eventually you have enough of a void here that it can collapse. And now you see that evidence on the surface in the form of a sinkhole. And then certainly once a sinkhole forms, you now have a direct connection from your surface water into your groundwater.
So protecting groundwater on a river like the Musconetcong, where the limestone karst mixes groundwater with surface water, is very critical. And that karst is like a giant sponge, yet it's made of limestone rock. The limestone is very porous, and if you dig into it in a wet area where the water's flowing through, you'll actually see smooth pathways through the rock where that water's flowing all day, every day. And that water's, because it's subsurface, it's keeping cool. Underground is, under 50 degrees, so it keeps the water cool, but it also cleans the water as it's going. And in a river like the Musconetcong, the surface water mixes with the groundwater and vice versa. So you have to be very careful not to build a sewer system or a septic tank in karst area where things do not break down in the soils. They get into the groundwater and then they can wind up in the river.
Trout generally need clean water and cool water to thrive in. Trout do not like 75-degree water. Generally somewhere in the mid-50s. Trout are happiest when its temperatures are in the mid-50s. Groundwater is important because it keeps our rivers clean and moving. We don't need, nor do we want, stagnant, dirty water.
It's heightened concern not only where you're near a sinkhole, because certainly that's a direct input potentially into groundwater, but also everything you do on the landscape is sort of heightened because you don't know what's happening below the surface, if there are sinkholes forming and how much soil you have and how much treatment capacity for those things we do on the landscape. So all of the other land-based practices that we see here on this farm, from using no-till practices to planting cover crops that keep something green and living and growing all year round basically, are so much more important in a watershed like this.